Hey, what's up YouTube? Your boy Chris out in the Caliente garage. In this video, I'm gonna show you how I put the bolts that I bought from Traxxion Dynamics on the batteries. Basically on the Honda Goldwing, the bolts are short, so if you need to boost off the battery, there's nowhere to clamp on the battery post. So I picked up these brass bolts from Traxxion Dynamics, and basically it's designed to extend the area to where you can hook up uh, a battery jumper, or if you need to boost off the battery, you will have a place to connect your alligator clips, because these bolts are so short that there's nowhere to place the alligator clips. So I picked up these brass bolts from Traxxion Dynamic, and I'm going to install them on my 21 Honda Goldwing, and it's basically just going to extend the area. So if I ever have a battery situation and I need to jump off the battery, I can have a spot to connect the alligator clips. And also, this bolt is going to serve two purposes. For a lot of you, even like myself, that has a bunch of wires coming off the battery, you only have a limited amount of space on the screw-in bolts. But on these bolts that I will be installing, I now would have additional space to connect wires to the battery if necessary. So it's going to serve two purposes. It's going to make it to where I can hook up an alligator clip if I need to boost out the battery, and it's going to give me more area to connect an accessory to the battery. So stay tuned to this video, and I'm going to show you how I actually get this installed on the 21 Honda Goldwing.
Goldwing Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who is fearless. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause in a world of reckless automobiles. These are my motovlogs.
So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of move some wires out of my way, because it's so tight up in this area. I'm going to kind of move this clip out the way. Just want to make it to where I can get to this battery terminal. Just going to tuck this in here to get it out the way so I can access the battery. Before I start, I'm going to disconnect the negative side. Not sure if this is going to work on the negative side, but I definitely can put one on the positive side. So I'm just give you an idea how short this bolt really is in comparison. So you can see you don't really have a lot of room to put accessories on the battery. So hopefully I can get this installed on here, and I will still have enough room to put back the cover. If not, I can always cut it and just make it shorter. Maybe take off about an inch. Just shorten up the bolt. So basically how this is going to work, just going to feed it through. Like so. I'm going to screw it all the way in. And like I say, on the negative side, it's probably going to be too short. I may need to shorten the battery length, shorten the bolt length. Just going to screw it all the way in. And then I'm going to back it out just a little bit. And then screw down that bolt. So this bolt is probably going to be longer than I need it to be. I'm going to shorten it up with a hacksaw. So I'm going to hold this bolt while tightening the other bolt. And that's how it works. I'm going to just pull this out, and we're going to work on the positive side first, and then we'll work on the negative side. Okay, I'm just going to feed this through just so I can keep up with all the wires. Okay, now that I have the negative side disconnected, I'm going to work on the positive side. Get my screw ready. I'm going to remove the short bolt. Just going to feed the bolt back. And now I can run this longer bolt through. That'll give me just going to hand tighten the bolt all the way in, as far as it'll go. Once it bottoms out, or once it goes as far as it can go, I'm just going to back it off a little bit. And now I'm going to tighten down the nut all the way down. I'm going to tighten it all the way down. And now I need something. I could take a wrench, which is a 10 millimeter, and hold the screw while tightening the nut. Now I can do the negative side. And that's the thing about these motorcycles, when you have accessories, it's best to have a fuse block, but some things are going to have to be hooked straight to the battery. And this is going to allow me to put on all my accessories that need to be connected to the battery. So I'm going to screw it in by hand until it stops. I'm going to back it out a couple of turns, and now I can, while holding the bolt, I'm going to tighten down the nut. Just going to tighten it down while holding the nut. And that's the thing about these motorcycles, is that they give you limited space. So I think that these bolts from Traxxion Dynamic for the battery not only serve a purpose of allowing you to hook up alligator clips to the battery in the event that you need to boost it off, but it's going to allow you to hook up all of your terminals to the battery because these nuts are so short you just have limited space. I'm just going to check the tightness on both of them, and I just want to make sure that I don't touch any negative or positive terminals while I'm tightening down the bolts. It's pretty tight. So now in the event that the battery needs to be boosted off, I have a place to connect my positive and I have a place to connect my negative. And so I think this is going to be great for any motorcycle owner that wants to be able to boost off their battery, because if you're just using the small bolts that came with the battery, you're not going to have any room to put alligator clips in the event that you need to boost off the battery. So I think that these brass bolts from Traxxion Dynamics are a must-have, along with the fuse block if you plan on adding accessories to your Honda Goldwing. Okay, in this portion of the video, I'm going to show you how I shorten this bolt up. It's a little bit long. When I try to put the panel back on the side of the Goldwing, this bolt is sticking out just a little bit too far, so I'm going to show you how I shorten it up. I'm going to totally remove the bolt. Bolt is just a little bit too long. I'll remove the bolt. And remember, this bolt is too short and this bolt is too long, so I'm going to take off probably maybe a quarter of an inch. Just going to take a hacksaw and take off the bolt about a quarter of an inch. Once I take it off, I'm going to run the bolt all the way back down to make sure that it rethreads, put the bolt back on, and then reinstall the bolt. So when I do this, I want to make sure that this bolt is on when I cut off the end, because if I take the bolt off and cut the end on, I can't get the bolt back on. So I just want to just run the bolt down, take off about a quarter of an inch, take the bolt off to make sure it rethreads, put the bolt back on, and then run it back through. So now that I have it in the vise, I'm just going to take off. I'm going to take off probably a quarter of an inch. Okay, so now that I have the bolt shortened, and you can see where I made the cut is not perfect, so I'm going to use the bolt and thread it back down to rethread it. So that's why it's so important to leave the bolt on the to leave the nut on the bolt when you cut it. If you cut it without the bolt on here, you can't get the bolt back on. So now that I have the bolt cut, I'm going to remove the bolt to make it rethread. Just slowly turn it the way to rethread. Put it back on. And now I can reinstall it back on the bike. Screw it all the way down. I'm going to feed it back through the ring terminals. Put the brass washer back. feed it back through the terminals. Now I should be able to hand tighten it back on. Hand tighten it down. Now that it's tight, I'm going to back it off a little bit. Now I'm going to hold the screw and turn the bolt. I want to make sure that that screw doesn't turn. And this way I'll shorten the bolt, but still giving myself enough room to connect my alligator clip. And this way I can put the panel back on the bike. That's the thing about installing. Being an installer, sometimes you have to improvise. But other than that, everything looks good. I'm going to clean all this back up and getting everything buttoned back. So if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to put it down in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to click the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is your boy Chris, and I've just connected 2 brass bolts from Traxxion Dynamics to the battery, and I love the way everything turned out. And I will talk to you guys later. See ya.